Robert Macbeth with Cornerstone Business Solutions, and today I'm here with Russell Herman for Automotion Napa. And first of all, thank you so much. I know how busy you are. I've been trying to chase you down for a couple of weeks trying to get you
It is a little,
to do this interview.
tough sometimes, yeah,
you know?
it's a little tough.
And the other day I happened to be in here talking about another matter, and you're just blowing me away with some marketing. I'm like, Russell, I have to do this video. So,
Well,
got
it's my
it nailed
pleasure.
down. So, first thing is, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about your business?
Well, we have a basic general automotive shop. We do all kinds of automotive repairs, from simple oil changes to full-blown restorations on classic cars. So if it's mechanically related to a car, we pretty much take care of it.
That's in a nutshell. I'll tell you, I've always and for full disclosure, you're my mechanic, obviously, and it's very loyal. You've earned my loyalty. I've always been impressed. You know, you always think that it's just a mechanic that opens a shop to work on cars. You're far more than that. Do you want to share how you got in the business and what you bring to the table?
Well, I got in the business as a mechanic. I mean, I started out as a technician in an independent repair shop, and then spent some time working in car dealerships. Had a shop in Colorado for 10 years, and then moved out here because of family. I've managed multiple car dealerships, parts and service operations, and then decided I just enjoyed working for myself more so than doing things for other people. So it was just time to open up another shop. So here we are.
You know, when we started working together, how long has it been since we first started?
Not as long as you think. It's only been
like
4 years. We opened the shop from scratch 4 years ago.
And you were working for one of the largest places here in town as a manager before. And
I worked here in town as the director of fixed operations for Extreme, Hyundai, Kia, and Nissan, and then at Mike Miller, Hyundai, Kia, and Mitsubishi, and Peoria.
And you decided to set out on your own. You start out with, I believe it was 2 bays, wasn't it?
Well, it was more than 2 bays. We had 4 bays, but it was just half of this facility that we have now. And we took an empty building and opened it up, put equipment in there, and hung a sign out and said, "Here we are." And so we basically started it from scratch in July of 2010.
Yeah. It's amazing to see the growth.
It's grown pretty fast.
You know, I mean, I think anybody that's gone by Empire here. First of all, do you want to give your location for anybody who may not know?
Well, we're at 13 Westport Court. We're just a couple of stoplights east of Hershey on Route 9.
And do you want to talk about the expansion here? I mean, it's amazing where you've gone. I mean, everybody.
Well, this year we had the opportunity to acquire the other half of the building, and so we did. And we've been a Napa Auto Care repair facility since 2010, since we opened, but decided to have the building repainted and the signs redone to promote that. You know, so we've always been associated with Napa as an auto care center. Good. It's been fantastic. I mean, we've been able to definitely expand our operation, be able to handle more cars and more clients, and to get things out for them and hire more technicians.
I did notice that sometimes in the past you just couldn't handle the flood of customers that you had. You know,
it's been a little challenging. Yes.
So this has been very welcome as a customer to be able to get in quicker.
It's been definitely helpful that we can get cars in and out much faster now without having to have people wait quite so long. So yeah, the expansion's been a great move.
I would say part of that's because you're focused on the customer. You have a very, very unique and very solid position when it comes to the customer experience. Can you share some of that you've shared with me?
Well, yeah, the customer, the focus on the customer is often talked about, but it has got to be more than just talk. It has to be the core part of your business, okay? And oftentimes I see other owners lose sight of what's most important, and that is that customer experience. You know, so many experts in the industry are going around teaching that, you know, we should be selling everything to everybody every time they come in. And the reality of it is that we don't all drive new cars. I mean, we drive our cars as they age, and we don't want to spend what it takes. It's ridiculous to spend what it takes to make every component of the car brand new again. And so we take a much different approach. We look at what the vehicle is. We certainly will tell our customers what we find, but we'll also give them every opportunity to postpone or to put off items that can definitely wait and are not urgent. It just simply becomes a matter of taking care of the customer's best interest first, and the money takes care of itself, okay? The sales take care of themselves. when people come in and they feel pressure to buy things, and feel like they're being sold things that maybe could wait for a while, it just is a bad experience. So our total focus is on our customers, their experience, only doing absolutely what's necessary, and our honesty and integrity. I mean, that's got to be the most important thing, and I think it's one of the things that's lacking most in our industry.
You mentioned something about that as far as, without mentioning business names, you mentioned a brake job that wasn't necessary the other day. Can you share that story? Because I was blown away by that. I couldn't believe it.
It's not an uncommon story, and it seems to be happening a little bit more and more as time goes on, but I had a customer who called and asked for a quote on some brake work. He wanted a quote on front brakes and rear brakes and calipers and all kinds of things. And I just could tell from his phone call that, number one, he'd already been somewhere and gotten an estimate, and number two, that, you know, what he was being told, while it's possible, it's almost like being struck by lightning to have all that happen at the same time. We don't give estimates over the phone for this reason. We ask the customer to please come down, and I'd be happy to look at his car and give him a free estimate. We wouldn't charge him for diagnostics or anything, just to let us look at it, see exactly what we felt it needed, and then we could get him an exact price on what it would take to repair the car, which he agreed to. When he came down and I got the car on the rack, I was amazed, because this gentleman had just purchased the car a month earlier, and so he had no history on the car. And when we inspected the brakes, we found that the brakes were brand new all the way around. Whoever he bought the car from had redone all the brakes. And so he showed me the estimate, which was over $1,200 that they were trying to sell him. And of that $1,200 estimate, his car didn't need anything. It needed zero. The brakes were brand new. And so we, put the wheels back on his car. We gave him his car back and told him that, his brakes were just fine. I'd even asked him if he had complained of anything, if he had taken it in and complained about a brake squeak or a pulsation or a noise or anything funny. And he said, no, I just took the car in for an oil change. And I got handed a $1,200 estimate, and I was a little surprised because I just bought the car. Ultimately, that we found out that he didn't need any of that $1,200, that it was really almost criminal that somebody was trying to sell him that much stuff that did not even remotely need to be done. And that's kind of a story that we see. I had a similar story the very next day, from a different shop and a different customer, and it's something that we see on a pretty regular basis, and it's a little bit disturbing that people are being sold things that they either don't need at all or that can wait, and it's kind of sad.
There's no doubt that your expertise is saving money for your customers. I mean, that's $1,200 savings, and you see that every day. I've had that experience with you as well.
Absolutely.
Where I've gone in, it might be a sensor. Oh, it's just this, and no charge. We've
Right.
taken care of it. I mean, that's.
But that's part of the customer experience. It's doing the right thing, and sometimes fixing a car is not really something in the car that's broken. It's something simple, or it's something that we need to educate the customer about how it operates or what to expect, or again, it's not about the money. The money comes second. It's taking care of the customer and solving their problem.
All right, well, since we're talking about money, you approached me about 2.5 years ago, and you had an incredible marketing plan. And what it involves is a customer. Me as a customer, when I walk away from here, I feel like I've got money in my pocket after I pay my bill and I walk away from and do you want to explain what we mean by that in your customer experience?
We do a loyalty program, and the loyalty program, other places do that, but it's not done very much in the automotive industry. We're very appreciative of our customers, and when somebody comes in and has an experience and has a problem with the car, there's a lot of anxiety that goes along with that. And so we try to minimize that, solve the problem, take care of the car. But at the end of the transaction, we always like to try to give them something back and something unexpected. And so we developed our rewards card that basically looks like a credit card, and you obviously helped me do that. We swipe the credit card, and we put between 5 and 10% cash back on that card that they can use to pay for future visits. So as they're paying the bill to get the car fixed, which nobody enjoys doing, at least the last thing they get is a little something back that says, thank you, we do appreciate you doing business with us, and here's some money back for maybe to help pay for your next oil change or whatever. So, and it's been a tremendous success. Our customers absolutely love it.
And it does keep us coming back. I mean,
It
it's
does
just a
keep
nice
coming
way
back.
to say
It's-
thanks
it-
and screen marketing.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So we've had great success with that program, and we redeem a lot of those cards every single month.
I'll tell you, I've always had a lot of respect, Russell. I mean this for your marketing genius. I mean, you think of things
Like
differently
that.
than anybody. I learn every time that I'm here, and you're a very astute businessman too. I feel honored to be your credit card representative. Why? You're a smart man. Why did you choose me? I mean, why was that a smart
You know,
choice for you?
actually, it was almost by accident.
Was
You
it?
were referred by my bank. When we opened up the shop in 2010, and I was looking for a credit card processor. The bank didn't actually do it or do it themselves internally, and they gave me your phone number to call.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best things they ever did for me because, again, you've been very helpful in helping us implement the loyalty programs and then our new credit card program and stuff. So it's a relationship that's really benefited me, and I think it was just by divine intervention.
And by both ways, you know, you've become my mechanic and somebody I can trust too. So I mean, it's been mutually beneficial all the way around.
Well, that's what that's what we're here for. That's
Yeah.
our job, is
Yeah.
to help people solve their problems with their cars.
Yeah. So 5 years later, why are you still with me then?
Mostly because of the service. You know, when I need these unique things, like our loyalty card, and I wanted them set up in a specific fashion, you were able to do those things. I mean, you've answered my questions always when it came to pricing and to the fees and how the credit card processing and transaction worked. You never lied to me about anything. You don't pull any punches. You just tell me exactly what it is and what's happening, and that's all anyone can expect of a business relationship, is just, you know, an honest relationship about what's going on. And we feel the same way about our customers, but it's certainly true of our vendors as well. We want to know from them exactly what's going on, and you've been very great about, you know, helping
Appreciate
us and answering our questions so we can make those plans and put those programs in place.
I learned a lot from you, Russell. Well, no, I have. I mean, you had a big impact on my gift and loyalty card program. You were the one that kind of sold me on why this is important, why businesses need to have this, and I appreciate that.
Well, it's been very important for us, and I think, you know, it's something that a lot of businesses could benefit from, and keeping those clients loyal and coming back, as opposed to allowing them to drift off into their competitors' stores.
I've had privy some information. I kind of see where you're looking to grow here. I mean, you've been an incredible success in such a short period of time. You've even shared me some confidential information about how outstanding your growth has been. What do you think your personal key to success is, if you could say one thing?
You know, it's trying to make every transaction a win-win transaction. It doesn't always have to be a win-lose transaction. You can make it win-win. You know, we take very good care of our employees. We pay them very, very well. You know, we give them plenty of latitude. We don't micromanage them, and we make sure that they have everything they need to succeed. And in return, they take very good care of our customers. They take very good care of our vendors. I mean, all the way around, you can't always look at life or business as just what's in it for me.
Yeah.
Because when you do that, you start making decisions that negatively impact either your vendors or your employees. And it's really, really hard to ask an employee to really focus on exceptional customer service when he's struggling trying to pay the rent.
Yeah.
You know, you have to take care of them. And when you take care of them and they're no longer worried about their finances, then they can take better care of your customers. And I feel the same way about my vendors. I cannot run my business without people like you to help me with these things that we don't do. And, you know, so we always try to take really good care of our vendors. And so those relationships, I mean, it really comes down to just relationships. And I think that's the measure of success, is what are those relationships with your employees, your vendors, and your customers. And it's very nice to see people out and to be able to enjoy those relationships even outside of our business.
Yeah. Any advice, if somebody was out there and they didn't, I guess they didn't, if somebody's not in the area that sees this, okay, we'll go nationwide with it. I mean, we're going across World Wide Web with this interview, Russell.
Okay. That's pretty scary.
For people that can't bring their
That's
car
pretty
here,
scary.
what would you say, I don't know, a couple of tips to look for in a mechanic? I mean, you know,
Well,
especially with
certainly,
everything.
probably the hardest thing is finding honesty, and it's very, very difficult to do that. And I guess one of the ways, developing or finding honesty and trust, or someone you can trust, is really, really hard. One of the ways that you can do that now with the internet and the web presence is to look at reviews like you would for a gas grill.
Yeah.
Go onto their websites, look at their Google reviews, look at Yelp, look at Yahoo and Bing, and search and see what people are saying. I mean, Angie's List. See what people are saying about those vendors online, or those mechanics, or that shop, before you go out and trust. The second largest investment you'll ever make is your car. Before you go out and trust that to somebody, it doesn't take very long to do a little research to find out what other people have had to say about them, and you'll get a very quick sense of how good they are.
And they can find you on all these different places.
You can find us on all these places. We're on Google and MechanicsNet and
That's really good
DemandForce
reviews, yeah.
and Yelp and Angie's List, and just anywhere
Yeah.
you search Automotion, you're going to find us.
Yeah.
And we've searched other shops to see what their reputation is, and sometimes they're not as good as we'd like to see them. Being a Napa Auto Care Center, we have had some success and had some good reviews from other Napa Auto Care Centers, because Napa holds their auto care centers to a very high standard in customer satisfaction. And so if somebody is outside of our area and is looking for a good technician, the first place I would start is napaautocare.com, because then you can type in your zip code and find all of the service departments around you that are Napa Auto Care Centers, as we are, and that's a great place to start. We've generally
That's
had
great
good
advice.
success. There are over 12,000 auto care centers in the
Yeah.
United States, so it's pretty easy to find one no matter where you live.
That's awesome. That's great advice.
So,
All right, let's change gears a little bit and talk about any funny stories or anything from your career. I mean, I know you hear and see things all the time. Do you have any funny stories you can think of that you can share?
there's always funny things that goes on, but there's, I guess, one that stood out in my mind, and it happened a very long time ago. But I had a partner in a shop in Oklahoma when I got out of college, and we had a gentleman come in one day and ask if we would come out and listen to his car. He said it was making a knocking noise in the engine. So I went out and I was under the hood of his car, and I had the engine running, and I was listening, and the engine was making actually two different kinds of noises, and I was trying to figure out exactly. I knew what one was. I was trying to figure out what the other one was. And he stuck his head under the hood and he said, I know that it's not a screw that fell down the carburetor, because I dropped a screw down the carburetor and revved it up, and it didn't make the same kind of noise. And I almost lost it. And after we disassembled the engine, after I stopped laughing, and we got his car actually in that, a couple of days later to take it apart, he had dropped a sheet metal screw down the engine. It went into the top of the piston and was banging around in there. And that wasn't his noise. He had a rod bearing noise in the bottom of the engine, but it was one of the more interesting things I'd seen in this business.
Oh, that's crazy. I thought you were gonna say I was for sure you're gonna say there was a cat under his hood or something.
No.
That.
He had actually dropped a screw down the engine on purpose and revved it up to see if it made the same kind of noise that it was making. And we pulled a sheet metal screw out of the top of his engine. So it was pretty entertaining.
I'm sure you've seen a dime a dozen people dropping their transmission for doing stupid things, or
I mean, there oftentimes are people that are trying to do things and they're not aware. Cars are very complex these days, and there's a lot of times when people do get in trouble because they want to work on themselves and save a little money, and that's admirable, and I understand that. But there are some times where it doesn't work out quite as well as they'd hoped.
Oh wait, that was me at 16 with my parents' car doing donuts.
Yeah,
Dropped the transmission pretty quick.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that mechanic told my parents exactly what happened. I don't think they were too happy.
Trying to get them out of the snow, reverse forward, and just going back and forth. Yeah, it doesn't take very long to take one out.
Anyway, let's see, for the future. I know you've got big plans, even going forward. Anything you want to share about going forward?
I think our industry there's such a lack of trust and integrity in our industry, and I am looking at hopefully next year or the year after opening another shop and continuing on from there, having multiple shops, even in other states possibly. It's just an industry where I think honesty and integrity really stands out, and I think it's served us very well. And we want to continue that and continue training people in the industry that you don't have to cheat people to make a very decent living at what you do.
I'll tell you, I'm very excited to see what happens in the next 5 years for you, Russell.
So am I. We'll see how it goes.
Thank you so much for the
No,
time.
it's my
I
pleasure.
appreciate you being my mechanic.
No,
and
it's
a
my
customer.
pleasure. Thank you for all your help with all of our cards and processing and loyalty cards, and it's been a win-win relationship for both of us. Thank you.
So.